Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Yeah, because of security, can you turn to your neighbor and check if he's a suspect or a victim or a shabab? Have you confirmed he's a Catholic priest? Tumsifu Bwana Yesu. Tumsifu Bwana Yesu. Hao wengine Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Na hao wengine habari zenu. Kwa hivyo kuna hao wengine. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I just have one story to give you, and then we start. Ladies and gentlemen, as Catholics, the theme, I'm told, is divine what? Mercy. So in Mombasa, there was this boy, alipanda juu ya mti na akasema anataka kujiua. And the parents came, tried to tell him to come out, he refused. They called their pastor, he was not a Catholic by the way, and then pastor akaenda akasema shuka katika jina la Yesu. Na yeye kijana akasema sishuki, and it was bad. And then they called the area chief akamwambia shuke kama serikali, akakataa. Wakaita zimamoto, wakashindwa kumtoa. Mzee mmoja hapo akasema, can we call a father, Catholic father, because of divine? Divine? And one person said, how do we call a Catholic priest, and yet this one is not a Catholic? But they said, you know, these people know how to talk to people, and they may do a miracle. You know, especially anaweza ruka alafu anguke ambariki namna hiyo hata akikufa aende mbinguni. So they agreed. And then when the priest was called, he was also surprised because he met a very big crowd trying to tell the young boy to come out, and they had refused. So what the father did, he just prayed kimoyomoyo, and then he finished with the sign cross, the way they do it very well. And then the boy discovered that this man did not talk, but he did something. So akashuka kidogo. And then the priest thought, because it is the month of divine mercy, is it the month of the year? The year of divine mercy. God is hearing my prayer. And the boy kept on guessing, nini amefanya? And then the priest prayed another prayer, and then he did the same cross. And then the boy said, yes, I've seen he has done something. But akashuka kidogo mpaka katikati ndio aone vizuri. And then there the priest discovered, my prayer, God is answering my prayer. And then he prayed, and he made a very big cross. And the boy came out. And when he came down, and then everybody was there, akaanza kuuliza, how come you came out? We tried to call you as parents, you refused. The chief, your parents, your pastor, and this priest has not even talked anything, and you came out. And the boy looked at them and said, niliona nyinyi wote hamkuwa serious. Isipokuwa huyu priest. I saw what he did to me. He told me, shuka ama nikate mti. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you this morning that with divine mercy, with confidence, hata hiyo cheating ya exam ukiangalia bila kuongea mambo mingi, utaiambia shuka ama. And I will give you a present because I have many presents. I have a present of an ABC of exam. You'll get it as we walk around lunchtime. It has ABC of exam. A, answer all questions. B, be neat and organized. C, cheating is a serious offense. D, don't panic. If I continue, you'll stand up. So, ladies and gentlemen, I also have given some presents here. I have written so many books, but the ones that I have today are only 4 that I will just give few of you later in the day. I have self-awareness. This is a book that will show you where you are. It has some monkeys. It tells you if you cut other people. Others are sleeping. Are you a sleeping principal? Hello? They are all here, explained here. This one is for parade, grants to grace. With this one, you can use it to address your school assemblies because it has very good quotes. Quotes like, even black cows produce white milk. Hello? You encourage them using these words. Another one is that when a bird is seated on a branch of a tree, its faith is not in that branch of a tree, but in the wings. So as a principal, don't just have faith in you being a principal, but being a human being and alive. Hello? Your principle might be taken away, but if your principle is taken away and you have the life, you can still move on and go to higher heights. Hello? Am I speaking to someone? Yes. Profess, you possess. Whatever you profess with your mouth, you possess. And another one, this one, I don't know, for many reasons I discovered ladies love this book so much. Don't cry, try. They go for 1,500, but if I get some of you in the queue there as we take lunch, I will give you at 1,000. I have like 5, and then God will bless you. And as I sit down, I want to remind you that success in any task is like wrestling with a gorilla. You don't stop because you're tired. You stop because the gorilla is tired or dead. Ladies and gentlemen, turn to your neighbor. Tell your neighbor, you used to be a very beautiful baby. And then you ask them, what happened? Thank you. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
The Chair Global Executive Secretaries for Catholic Education, Madam Augusta Muthigani, all Education Secretaries from Kenya, Religious Education Advisors, Chair of CASPA and the Executive, and all the delegates, good morning. So welcome back after the break and after the ice breaking. And I hope we are ready for this second session. And as we've been told, it's about sharing experiences. And during this time when we have the theme, Catholic School, a place to encounter Jesus Christ, the merciful teacher, I think it is an opportune moment for us to remind ourselves that Christ is our model as teachers, because all of us are teachers. And therefore, as teachers, we are expected to be merciful, like the Heavenly Father, merciful, like Jesus Christ, our model. And therefore, since we are running Catholic schools, we need to realize and affirm that the Catholic schools will be defined by the attentiveness to the life-giving presence of God. And therefore, we have a challenge to ensure that we bring God, we bring Christ to the people. And this will be done through our mercy, our love, and our compassion. If we are merciful, if we are loving, if we are compassionate, then we'll be able to bring Christ. And therefore, we are called upon to be partners in the formation, in ongoing formation of our children. And we are going to do so through love, mercy, and compassion. And therefore, our teaching and our leadership should be seasoned with love and guided by faith. And we are called upon to develop the sacredness of all, to ensure that our children, our pupils, our students understand that we are all sacred. And therefore, during this year of mercy, then as teachers, as principals, we are called to be instruments of mercy. And therefore, Catholic schools should be places where children, where our students learn respect of the self and respect of others, where they are sensitive to the dignity of others. And we should be able to help them to think beyond themselves and develop a heart which is moved with love. And if they are able to think beyond themselves, then we are not going to have the experiences that we have had in the last few months. So we ask ourselves, in the light of what is happening, how can we be able to express love, compassion, even in the face of distraction? How do we help our children to imitate Christ, the merciful teacher? And how can reason, religion, and compassion be used as a tool to prevent distraction in our schools? I'm sure we have experienced a lot. And during this session, we'll be getting experiences from different teachers, from different principals. And they are going to share with us what they have experienced and be able to help us understand whether it emanates from within or from without, whether there are issues that we need to consider, whether there are some proposals that we need to bring out so that we can improve on the discipline of our children. And therefore, at this point, I wish to invite our panelists. With us, we have Mrs. Murumba Susan. We have Mr. Nicholas Nyaga. And then with the last one, Joseph Mutua Nzoka. Washira will also be joining us shortly. And therefore, they'll be sharing with us their experiences. And at this point, I wish to invite Mrs. Murumba Susan. Murumba is the principal of St. Teresa Bikeke Girls, Kitale. She's a wife to Mr. Murumba, who is also with us here. She's a mother of 3, a teacher of mathematics, and an examiner of mathematics paper 1. She says she loves football and supports the local teams, and a great fan of Chelsea. Maybe I've not pronounced it well. Yes, Chelsea. She holds a master's in management and policy studies from Moy University and has a B.Ed in education. She has interest in research, and she has carried a research in teaching in physical education and life, which is in the process of being published. And she's also carrying another research in student leadership. And I think from this you'll be able to share a lot. She values integrity, cleanliness, and fear of God. I think these are some of the values that have enabled her to continue being a principal for a number of years. So we have the pleasure of inviting you, Mrs. Murumba, to share with us. Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. As you have been told, my name is Mrs. Murumba Susan, and I want to thank God in a special way for this wonderful opportunity to share the experience we went through this year. Ours is St. Teresa's Bikeke Girls, which is within the Central Division of Kitale Town, with an enrollment of 679 girls, doing both day and boarding, and a small fraction is on day. Through the 679, we only have 88 day scholars. It is a center of excellence, a beautiful school, a school where students experience Christ. We pray together, and we actually feel the mercy of God in our lives. But we experienced fire. This year, right from the beginning, in January, we received more than 1,000 applicants for Form 1 vacancies, indicating that we have goodwill from the community, and also our students love their school. But through it all, we had to take a small fraction of only 200 to join our Form 1 class. Now, sometime back in the month of July, on a Sunday evening, after our students had settled down quite early for their evening prep, in preparation for the new week and the work that is done on Monday, slightly before 8, we realized that one of our largest dormitories was on fire. We had 2 students running to the staff room. I wasn't in school that time. The matron was watching a program in the staff room, and 3 teachers were in class. One was doing a Form 4 class, another one Form 3 and Form 2. So 2 girls ran to the staff room shouting, "Fire, fire," and shortly I was informed I also informed the fire brigade within the county, and everything was done to prevent the fire from spreading, but we managed to save nothing because we realized the fire was spreading at a very, very high rate. And so in that confusion, the whole village was in school. My bishop is called Reverend Anthony Crowley. He was in school very, very fast to see what was happening. In that confusion, a few parents had information, so they arrived and they wanted to go home with their children. But I pleaded with them and told them to keep the girls with me for that night because I was very sure that our girls will volunteer information. And so parents considered with that. They went home, and the following day in the morning, of course, we were all in trouble, crying all over. I remember in that night when one of the villagers wanted to carry some items away and there was some kind of a fight. I was hidden in the secretary's office with people I did not know. You can imagine a principal under the secretary's desk and you do not understand what is happening. All the same, the Lord came through for us, and the following day, we received quite some visitors from the county government. The Director of Education had also come on board, and while conducting an indoor meeting with all the stakeholders, there's a girl who jostled through the crowd and reached to me, indicated to me that she knew who had burnt the dormitory. So I told her to put it in written very fast, and she went out quickly, came back with a note, and so I called the matron whom I really, really trust, and I told her to confine this particular girl. So after confining the girl, she actually confessed that she is the one who burnt the dormitory, and she also accepted to put it in written. Now, shortly after that, we had a meeting with parents, and we released Form 1, 2, and 3 to go home with their parents, but Form 4s had requested to remain back because they were preparing for a joint county exam. At that point, when stakeholders had left, I convinced this girl to come to my office because she was a little bit in doubt. She did not know what I could do with her, but I really babied her and I told her she was safe. So she accepted to come to my office, but shortly after that, CID officials arrived and spent a lot of time with this girl, to the tune of about 5 good hours, but she could not give information. Now this girl is a Form 2 girl and only 14 years old. And something unique about her is she is very bright. She is a champion in 5 good subjects. Champion in chemistry, in mathematics, in physics. So you can imagine the kind of girl I'm talking about. Looking very small, in fact, CID people were calling her Toto, because indeed she's a tiny girl. She has an entry of 350 marks, and those of us who manage schools like mine will agree with me that an entry of 350 marks is quite good. Are we there? Yeah, so this is a girl who is very bright, and she had never encountered a discipline case. She is a girl we admitted last year, doing extremely well, and something again very unique about her is that she is a vulnerable girl coming from a single family of a father only, and she's not accountable to anyone. She is also sponsored by an organization that pays her school fees, and so when she leaves school, she can choose to go anywhere. She goes to her father, she goes to her aunties, she goes anywhere she wishes to go. Another thing about this girl is that she's a tough player of football. At that age, she plays for a particular club around Kitale. In fact, in our school, we have done very well in football, and whenever she's in the field, we are very sure that we are going to win. I remember this year we played St. Joseph's Girls, and indeed we did very well. And that is courtesy of this young girl I'm talking about. Now, as CID officials interacted with this girl together with me and my deputy principal, we chose to go through her desk. And as we went through, she tried intercepting. It's like there was something she did not want us to know. But of course, we made it to it, and we made a very unique discovery, that this girl has a full scarf full of contacts, connect her to every part of this country. I remember the first one connected her to Makueni. The next one was Malindi. And the third one, ladies and gentlemen, I can't remember. Because ideally I was not sober that time. But I do remember again very well that 3 days after our incident, there was a school that went into flames in Makueni. Do you remember? Yeah, so this is a girl who is well connected. We did not manage to get her with a cell phone, a phone, but she had a number. She had a small piece of paper with a cell phone number written on it and the name of a person we know. Again, something unique about her desk is that she had several receipts from a shop in Kitale that she keeps purchasing items, edible items like Afia, like soda Fanta, and the like. But looking at the receipts, of course the receipt will give you the date and the time, isn't it? Yeah, so we discovered that she purchases these items even while in school. So we did not understand how. And so this is the kind of girl who could not give information. She says one statement, she circles her fingers and keeps quiet. And by 6 on that particular day, CID officials were a little impatient with her, so they chose to take her to Kitale police station. And I asked the deputy to accompany them because officially the girl was still in our hands. Now, while at the police station, she was given some place to sleep. The following day, she was taken before a magistrate, and she was able to give full information concerning what she did. And she doesn't regret. She feels she had accomplished her mission. Now, with the time we are gathering information, it is true that her classmates were not aware. And even the entire school was not aware of this. But after she had put the dormitory into flames, she came to class, and one of them had her say, "Mission accomplished." So, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to share that and also tell you that this is, in my own view, this is a case of radicalization. Because this girl does not feel anything. In fact, I remember she was told to look at the child dormitory, and she was asked, "Are you the one who did this?" And she did not blink. She has actually no problem. So after she confessed before a magistrate, she was also charged in a court of law, and as we talk, she is in a children's remand in Eldoret. Because her father was called thereafter, and he disowned her. He said, whatever happens to her, he did not have any part to do with it, and so the girl was taken to the children's remand in Eldoret, and that's where she is. So briefly, that is what we went through as St. Teresa's BKK girls, but we still have hope, because immediately We sent our girls away. They came back after 1 week, and parents, in their goodwill, were able to pay in some money. And as we talk, there is reconstruction going on, and we trust that in due course, our dormitory will be in place again, and we'll have our normal programs running. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I also believe that the Lord is our shepherd, and unless God watches over our city, he who does it in vain. It is also very important for us to know that the vulnerable children we are dealing with are very, very dangerous. And I think the church has a role to play here. We have left vulnerable children to anyone, and in that circumstance, they can be manipulated, they can be taken in any direction. I want to believe that this girl must have been given a token to do what she did, and so she does not feel sorry about it at all. And finally, I would like to say that the devil is up to torturing Kenyans. That's what I believe. Because how many parents have suffered this? Are they few? There are very many. You can imagine parents of Form 3 coming back to school as Form 1. I was feeling very sad, but I thank God because he has given us strength and we are able to move on once again. With that sharing, I would like to thank you very much. I know you might have quite some questions to ask me, and if you ask, I may be in a position to answer, and my colleagues will also share their experiences. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you very much, sister. My name is Madam Stella Chitechi, a principal, Sacred Heart Girls, Mukumu. Now, listening carefully to the experiences that our colleagues have shared with us, it is evident that principals have a lot to handle as managers in their institutions. I was particularly touched by the story of Bikeke, where this little girl has been radicalized to a level where she doesn't feel anything about what has happened in her school. Now, I was just wondering quietly that don't you think it is time as education managers that we are taken through some kind of training where we are equipped with skills on, say, intelligence gathering, so that we are on top of things when such things happen in our schools. You see, like the police officers, whatever, their CIDs, they are taken through some special training to gather information. I want to propose in this conference that we organize for such a training for our principals so that we are able to handle these challenges. And then secondly, sister, it is important for us to realize that actually many of the children we are handling come from challenged backgrounds in terms of broken families, and the G and C in our schools should come in very, very strongly. I cite a case where a student came to me and she was crying and she was saying, "Madam, just invite my parents to come. I would like us to have peace at home. We have never experienced anything called peace. And they are also not available." And here is a student who went out, lured by her friends. She went partying, and the next thing she found herself in a pool of blood. She can't even remember what happened to her. She was dragged during those parties. So parents have to come on board very strongly. Guidance and counseling has to come in very strongly to support our systems. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, the chair, for the panelists and the panelists of the day for that sharing. We are really touched, and believe you me, we share the pain and the stress you went through, although at a different magnitude. Mine is to the BKK principal. There is one important part I was waiting to hear you comment on. How this 14-year-old managed to cause a fire. What was the process? How did she do it alone? Was she alone? Was there complicity from outside? And then, you also left one part hanging loose. When you found out that the girl was in school, but items were being bought, did you tie up that thing? Who was bringing these items to the school? Was there complicity within the gate man and whatever was there? Kindly explain to me that.
Thank you.
My name, somebody asked me, my name is Dominic Chimwani. Dominic Chimwani is a principal of St. Teresa's Secondary School in Kilifi. So it's a namesake of your school, BKK.
Thank you. We'll not ask her to respond because we are already beyond the time that was given to us. But I'm sure during the breaks, you'll be able to share a lot. But she did say that the girl was connected to many people. She had all the connections, and I'm sure there was a way that she was getting all this. And therefore, at this point, I wish to thank them for sharing with us. But what is coming out clearly is that a lot must be done by all the stakeholders. Because when you look at what the principals have shared and what you experience, we ask ourselves, what role are parents playing? What role are those teachers playing? What role is the principal playing? What are our roles? So that we can ensure that all the stakeholders work together to ensure that our children, our students, and our schools are places where we can be able to meet the merciful Christ. Because we have said this is the year of mercy, and we want to experience that compassion, that love. And therefore we are saying teachers, parents, students, the church, the society must play their role. Because if you listen to them, there are some people who are instigating all this, isn't it? You find either they are the teachers, they are either the students themselves, the people who are brainwashing our students and the like. So each person must play their part well. And then we ask ourselves, what is the place of religious education in our schools? Are we still teaching the religious education, or it has still continued to be an optional subject? Because if we can be able to concentrate on this, I think some of the values that our teachers are saying they hold could not only be taught, but they must be lived. Because we say Catholic schools have a value system, they have their ethos. Are we living this value system that we profess? When you listen to the mottos that we have, that each school has, how do we ensure that all our activities are geared towards that? Are they guided by that motto? How about our value-based education? What is the place of that? We are also asking ourselves, we have pastoral program of instruction in primary schools. Are these students, are these children going through this? And what can we be able to do so that our children grow up uprightly? And then, do we have role models? Are we lacking in role models? Because if we have role models, we'll ask ourselves, what kind of role models do our students have? You know the role models that they like to be, that they want to imitate, isn't it? Are they the best? Are they the best role models? So we must ask ourselves, as teachers, as principals, can we help our children to get the right role models? The final thing that I want to say is that, as someone has said here, remember, as leaders, we can delegate responsibility, but not what? Accountability, isn't it? We can delegate responsibility, and I think that's what the last speaker said. He discovered that he must act, and therefore as principals, yes, we have done a lot, but we still know that we are accountable. We are accountable of the work that we are doing. So at this point, I wish to stop at that and say that let us make our Catholic schools a place where we will meet the merciful Christ, where we can continue to be teachers who show and who model Christ, because he's our role model. And if we model Christ, the children will also model us. And in turn, they'll be modeling who? Jesus Christ. So thank you so much, the chair.
A very good clap for sister. Now I want to invite Mr. Mollis Sudi from St. Leo Road Diocese to come and move a vote of thanks. You are most welcome, Mr. Mollis. As Mr. Mollis comes, you agree with me, all of us have learned. Much as I've been the MC for the day, one thing I'm sure of is that each and every one of us has tasted something. I know I was not in the program, but I know, I wish you'd know how it feels. Like mine, we tried to hunt each other, the way Mr. Wachira is talking about, day and night. And the one time they said, we know that the night is really covered. And they decided that when the teachers and myself, we are taking a cup of tea, and the saying is sasa tumetoboa at 11:40 a.m. 11:40 a.m. we saw smoke in the dome. Where the smoke had so you see, you are dealing with the characters who are actually. I remember what one of my education secretaries in Nyeri, Father George, used to tell me. 80% of the time the students are thinking of how they are either going to cheat the parents or how they are going to cheat the teachers. 80%. I also agreed this time round, they were doing a lot of time. And I also noted, like they have said, these students could be more connected than the way we are connected to the institutions that we are running. Like what Madam has talked about, the connection in various places. These guys are connected all over the country. Either to people they know or even people they don't know. But the language is the same. Move a vote of thanks.
God is good, and all the time. I'm called Morris Musudi, the principal of St. Leo's Kakuma Secondary School. On your way to Lokchogyo, on your way to Sudan. So our neighbors are the Sudanese, whom we interact with very closely because they are in the refugee camp, though our school is a public school. In Turkana County, there are 42 secondary schools, but I don't know, we say God was on our side, or I don't know what happened, because we did not experience fire. We were just hearing about it happening in other counties, but with us we were praying so hard that it doesn't happen there. And surely it did not happen up to the time we closed the schools. But then that one did not mean that we were sleeping. Like for my case, my schools are 3-stream school. I'm having around 620 students. And they normally go to sleep at 10:30. So I had to entice teachers. We normally have 2 teachers on duty. So I had to add on the number so that we form a vigilante group. We were sleeping at around 1, but the boys were peaceful. But we were not taking chances. And then when it came to closing, some schools were closing earlier, and we saw it was quite inappropriate for us to close the school earlier because the program was running up to last week when the schools were closing officially. I don't know what was happening in other schools, but for my case, I had to go to an extent of even bribing them, buy them good things, take them to the field to play in the house, in the class competition, buy goats there, the winning team to eat goats, the second team to get some few things. And they were happy up to the time we closed the school. And then when they went home, I said, thank you, God. Because the adrenaline was always high. So I like to thank I'd like to thank my colleagues here for their experience. They have opened the eyes for us because we don't know. We cannot say that that was the end. It might recur next time because it is only next week. So thank you so much for that insight. And thank you all for listening and for sympathizing with those ones who faced it. Let us share this experience as we are still here so that we can learn from one another. Being a principal is not easy. But when you learn from one another, we can learn one or two things which can enable us to go and fix some loose ends in our schools. So thank you so much. I'd like you to thank them this way. Let us stand. We have sat for a long time. Let us pour rain on them as a sign of blessing for all the troubles they had. So we finish with, let us do it again. There. Thank you so much.